I wish I would have known maybe just about more resources to like just get better. But I would say if you're like looking to do sports design and things like that, I would say like just open up one of those softwares and just kind of get familiar with it and then like go to YouTube and just learn like the basics, like learn the basics of like how to use these softwares and then to like also
Welcome to today's episode of the Huddle to Hustle podcast. Today I have Julian on with me, the Denver Broncos graphic designer. I am so excited to have him on. He has worked for graphic design for a pretty long time. He worked for the Broncos, he worked for the Colorado Rapids, a soccer team, and he also worked for Colorado State University, who is currently playing in March Madness, and Julian is joining us right now. There we go. How you doing?
how's it going, man?
Good, good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great.
All right. I'm just gonna have us jump right into it. I gave a little background like literally 60 seconds ago, just basically
Yeah.
saying what you have on your LinkedIn, at least his profile go. But I first have to ask if you do the W graphics for the Broncos.
Yeah, so I came up with like our generic just like template, but we have like so it's kind of weird. We have a different designer designing every week
Yeah.
doing those graphics. But I've done a couple of them. I've done like the Vegas slot machine. I did last year when we beat the Chiefs, we had like a gravestone, so I did that one and then there was another one I was really proud of this year that I did. I can't remember, but there was another one I feel like I do more of the composite ones. Those are the ones I tend to like doing more, but definitely do those, yes.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. When I was scrolling through, I was looking at I saw a gallery that you had posted on LinkedIn, and I was looking at them, and it had all the W's on there, and I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
these are sweet. I remember looking at these throughout the season. Like those are so
Yeah.
cool.
I appreciate it. Are you so who's your sports team? Is it Patriots? I see Patriot helmet
Yeah,
behind
I'm a
you.
Patriots fan.
Okay, dope, dope, dope. Are you so where are you based out of? Sorry. You work for KSC, so you must be in Denver, right?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Are you from Denver originally?
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you go to school here also?
Yeah. Yep. I got one more semester.
You got one more semester?
Yep.
Dude, awesome. Where do you go currently?
Metro.
Oh, okay, dope. I started my college career or whatever at Metro and then I
Oh.
transferred over to CSU. So I graduated from CSU.
Oh, really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I went there my freshman year at Metro. It was pretty dope. I had some classes like in I was a journalism major, so I had some of my classes in the JTC. There's like a journalism building by 7th Street or something. So
Yeah.
yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah.
Metro's dope, bro. It's a good school.
Oh, yeah. Metro's pretty nice. It's definitely a good school too if you're like you go do your core elective, your core classes there, and then jump
Yeah,
over to a major university.
definitely. Yeah, it's kind of the route I went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna start off and just say, what is one thing that you wish that you knew when you started doing graphic design?
Ooh, that is a great question. Let me see. I wish I would have known maybe just about more resources to like just get better. I would say things like YouTube, things like even just like connecting with people on social media. Like I feel like those things I didn't know much about. So I feel like I maybe took a smaller, this is a little, sorry, what am I saying? A little slower process to like learn all these things. And I am not a traditional graphic designer. I didn't go to art school. So things for me, I had to like learn them on my own essentially. So I just wish I would have had a little more. I wish I would have known more about ways to reach out to people or just ways to get more information.
Was that you said you didn't go to art school and you're making it seem like that maybe is the traditional route for graphic designers? Was that a roadblock for you trying to get jobs?
I wouldn't say it was a roadblock. I would say that it maybe just hindered my like development as a designer just because I didn't get trained, I guess, traditionally, but that is a traditional route for designers that go to art school and they tend to study like have a concentration in graphic design. So, and I didn't have like those technical trainings based off of like my major in college. So a lot of those things I kind of had to learn a little bit later in my career. But I wouldn't say it hindered me. I mean, maybe from like a execution standpoint, maybe I wasn't like where I needed to be, but I don't think it didn't seem like jobs necessarily didn't want to hire me because I didn't have a design degree.
Okay, okay, that's good. At least they looked at you and your actual ability rather than like checking off you had to do this, you had to do that.
Yeah, and like that's kind of what I tend to look at also when we're because we're in the process of hiring an
Yeah.
intern. So it's like I don't necessarily look at like do they have a design degree that and that automatically makes them qualified to do this job. I it's more about like their work and their work experience slash life experiences.
Yeah, you actually have the perfect perspective for like if you're involved in the hiring, it's way better for someone like you to be involved in the hiring because you at least can understand someone that didn't do the graphic designing or not graphic design, art school and that kind
Yeah.
of thing. You seem like you have a different journey, which is good.
Yeah, I think that's really important too. I think it's important to have like people who maybe have a different experience like myself and then your traditional art students to like
Right.
just have a multitude of different perspectives on people.
Yeah, 100%. So this is a little bit of like it's kind of for me, but I'm also curious. If I wanted to start practicing graphic design skills, where should I start? And then once I'm comfortable with that start, where do you go from there?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I would say like the first thing would be to like open up like Photoshop. I think Photoshop, Adobe, like the Adobe Creative Cloud in general, but like Photoshop. There's a lot of different things with like in design. Like you don't necessarily have to be a good designer and be good at Photoshop to succeed. But I would say if you're like looking to do sports design and things like that, I would say like just open up one of those softwares and just kind of get familiar with it, and then like go to YouTube and just learn like the basics, like learn the basics of like how to use these softwares. And then to like also pair with that, I would say like get some sort of education, whether that be like online, like just multiple multitude of ways you can learn like about art and like the fundamentals of art. But if like you have the opportunity or the resources, like go to college, and I would definitely say like study art. And I think those type of things are like really fundamental and like key to succeeding in design.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That sounds like a good start. That's something that I definitely want to jump into a little bit because I've
Yeah,
learned that packaging and the actual branding of something is pretty important and kind of
100%.
it's the first thing that someone sees, so you got to be able to do it at a high level.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, like just jump in and like get familiar with things. And like, it's not to say like you have to learn art, but just like maybe understanding like the fundamentals of art, that will help you like be a better designer throughout like, yeah, your career.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you dive into a little bit of maybe how you got to where you are now because you went from, well, now I know you went from Metro, then you
Mhm.
did graphic design at CSU, then you did
Mhm.
graphic design for the Colorado Rapids, and now you're
Yep.
doing graphic design for the Denver Broncos. So tell me a little
Yep.
bit about that journey and process.
Yeah, I would say it was definitely like a bumpy road for me. I like went to college not even knowing what I wanted to do. And I'm gonna be 100% honest, like I didn't even know people there was jobs for people that designed in sports or things like I didn't know like people actually worked in sports. I knew sports obviously existed. I grew up a big sports fan my whole life, but I didn't know people actually worked in it. So I went to school kind of with like it seemed kind of like a pipe dream, like thinking like, oh, maybe I could do sports writing, but not necessarily for a team, like maybe for a newspaper or something. I didn't really have like practical goals. I just kind of thought that was cool. And then when I was in college, within my journalism major, when I went to CSU, I had this class and it was essentially just like a mixed media class kind of, and it was just teaching you like the basics, the very, very like core basics of like using Photoshop to like maybe design something for I don't know, like a business or something, and like maybe like I don't know, a quick flyer or something like that. And that's like the first time I ever opened Photoshop, like sophomore year of college. And I just kind of messed around with it here and there. And then the next year, my junior year of college, I was in this class. It's called like campaigns class, my journalism major. And we were just like building out a campaign for like a company. And we needed to design a like flyer and I was like I volunteered. I was like, sure, I'll do it. I'll try it out. And it was so bad. Like I didn't even like size the document correctly. Like the colors weren't in the correct color space. I just designed it and my professor like but this like I want to recommend you to this job on campus and I know somebody who works there. And I was like, I don't think I could even do this as a job, but sure, like I'll just take this opportunity. So I ended up getting that job. It's called Collab. It was our like our design marketing firm for our student center at CSU. And yeah, that job taught me so much because those are all like art majors and stuff. So that I learned a lot. And then from there, I would just like honestly, to be 100% honest, like I think like, and I think maybe aspiring designers can take from this, but like just make your own or create your own opportunities. So like if a family member or somebody you know is like, yo, I want to, design a menu for a restaurant or design a logo or something, like I would say like don't be afraid to like take those jobs on, and don't be afraid if they're like low paying or not paying, because like at like the skill level that you're at, it's better to like kind of gain that experience, I would say personally. So that's kind of what I did. I kind of like had my job at in college, and I would just like take on like some freelance work, but I wasn't getting paid for it. I was just like practicing. And yeah, I did that. And then I graduated during COVID. So COVID was like a really hard time to find jobs. So I was spent like about a year just like looking for jobs and just continuing to like do like those one-off projects for people. And then my friend sent me a job for the Rapids, and I was like, yo, this is so like I didn't even know that like jobs hired like that. So I had like mocked like did some like social graphics just for fun, like some sports graphics. And I just put it on my portfolio for fun. And I applied to the job and I ended up getting it. And that kind of changed like everything for the trajectory of like my career. I ended up just getting some experience there. I was only there for like 7 to 8 months. And then I kind of built up like a portfolio, and then I applied to the Broncos and I got a job there. And honestly, the Broncos have really has really like changed like also the trajectory of my career, because I've learned just so much. Like I've been there for 2.5 years, coming up on three, and I've just learned like so much stuff that I like didn't even think I would need to know. So that's like really changed a lot for me.
Yeah, that's actually a really it's very unique
Mm.
story, I think. But I resonate a lot with literally like the first thing you said was you didn't know that there were careers in sport really. Like you didn't know that that was even an option. I also had no idea that you could work in sports. It just
Yeah,
like it never crosses your mind that there's actual jobs behind what's
exactly.
going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's wild once you know like there are jobs and like they are fairly obtainable. Like, yeah.
I guess you would know both from the getting hired perspective and the hiring perspective. What is a professional sports team looking for in a graphic designer?
I would say what we're looking, maybe like just to start off at like the intern label, the
Yeah,
level, like the base level, it would be like someone who knows what they are talking about, like what when it comes to design, like they can explain like what they're designing, so why things make sense, why they look good. I would say like a big thing also is just like somebody who is a good like team member and
yeah,
somebody who works good in teams. Somebody, I think a lot of it is also about like your personality and like if you're a good team fit. Because like the majority of people, once you filter out like, the 300 candidates that you get, once you filter out to like the bottom, it's like all these people know what they're doing, but like who's going to be the best team fit
right.
for our team. So I think that plays a big like factor in it. But I would say, yeah, just like knowing what you're doing, being able and willing to grow, and being like coachable, and also like having a good personality.
Coachable. That's my
Yeah,
favorite answer in interviews is like what sets you apart. I'm like coachable. That's
exactly. No, 100%. No, yeah, like being coachable is so key. Like people don't, I mean, I could speak for like myself, but like I would say somebody who like thinks they know it all, and like because you'll like never know everything
right.
in whatever you're doing. So like somebody who's just willing to learn and like willing to like take ideas from somebody else and like not put down other people's ideas. So
100%. And I think for that specific role too, it is so crucial because it's your own opinion could be good, but it's so much better to get five, six, seven, eight, nine other people's opinions because you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for everyone else.
100%. Yeah, I would say just and also just having like a good form of communication, and like back to the relationship part, but like good relationships with other departments that you're
Yeah.
designing for, and being able to just have like a good way to for them to communicate what they're feeling and for you to communicate back what you've designed.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm kind of curious then. What for you does the creative process look like when doing designs?
That's interesting. Yeah, like I feel like it always not always varies, but it tends to vary at times. But like my creative process would be just honestly to like I know how to design, and we have a good like basis. We have a good toolkit
Right.
at the Broncos. Like so we know in like what style to design with. Like that's kind of like things that we've established. That's like the we laid the foundation for that. But like when it comes to like a creative process, like honestly, the most important thing is to like make sure you have the requirements in whatever you're designing. So like whether that be we need a link to X website, or we need these certain logos on
Oh,
here, or we need a sponsors on this, so it needs to be on here. We need a photo, like making sure that you have like the appropriate um like thing that's being communicated, make sure that is being communicated correctly. So I think like that's probably where my process starts, is just making sure I have all those like things that need to be included in whatever I'm designing.
do you
I'll go
prefer?
ahead, sir.
Oh, no, 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 you go ahead, please.
I was gonna say also just like sketching out things and like wireframing things is also like really key. Like before you start is like making sure that you just kind of have a plan, and whether it be like a really rough and loose plan, it doesn't have to be like perfect. Just like a rough sketch of like what you're planning on doing. I think that definitely helps the process also.
Okay, interesting. I think that makes sense. I think from me personally, I had a little bit of an understanding of at least the, not template, but you have like certain fonts that you're supposed to use. You have the colorways that you're going to use. And I did see on the gallery of like the happy birthday things, the resigned, the quotes, like
Yeah, yeah,
that kind
yeah.
of thing. It makes sense that that kind of thing is like kind of set up already for that season. Does that change, say, season to season?
Oh, 100%. Yes, we have like brainstorming sessions. We have like working sessions to like build off of like our templates that we've had in the past and how to like make them better every year. So that's definitely things that we're working on, and we've been working on as of recent, like working on like a new draft look for the draft, working
Yeah.
on the agency that just happened, like working on new templates for that. So yeah, that definitely changes like all the time.
Yeah. How do you actually measure if that design is maybe like effective or if it's the best that it could be? Is there a way to tell?
That's a good question. I feel like art is just so subjective that like it could work for me in my eye, but it like maybe doesn't work the same for you in your eye. I think ultimately, like going back to like what's being communicated, I think that's the best measure of success for things is like, are we communicating the information correctly? Like at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Um, but I think if it like does that, then it'll perform correctly and fans will understand. And at the end of the day, like fans are gonna react to it
Right.
anyways. It's coming from our account, right? So like I would just say just making sure things are the information is being communicated correctly is like the best measure of success.
That makes sense. I feel
And
like
there,
I've never seen a bad comment about any of the graphics.
exactly, yeah, yeah. No, 100%. I would say also too oh, I lost my train of thought, sorry.
Oh no.
No, but yeah, but yes, no, you're right, like 100%.
Yeah, so I guess I'm just curious because I remember scrolling through something of yours and you were there for a game day. Do you prefer the game days or do you like the having time actually at the office to do your thing?
I would say like both. I like both equally. I think the high stress of like a game day is like fun in itself because
Right.
it's like you need to like be on like your like P's and Q's. Like you have to be like, ready to go. But I would say also it is nice to like be at your desk and like work through. I think you have more time to be creative and like try to think through things when you're at your desk and like working and things like that. But on the game day, we like lay the foundation for the game day before the game day. So a game day is just plug and play. It's just like you said, like timely. Like it's just very timely. You have to be you're ready to go all the time. But I would say yeah, like both are great. Like I enjoy both.
Okay, cool, cool. I think people would get stuck in the idea that they only want to do the game day stuff because it's like you get to actually experience the game. But I think you're totally right about you can only really you're not clouded when you're outside of the game. You can actually think. I
100%,
100%
yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah, and I would say like there is definitely opportunity to get like creative during game day. Like, don't get me wrong, but I feel like at least in our line, our department, like we try to lay the foundation as best we can.
Right.
So we have to be stuck in situations where like we don't know what we're doing or we don't know if this is gonna work. Like we just have like things built out and ready to go.
Yeah, 100%. So this is the last thing that I have for you, and I ask every single person this. So if you could rank the following things based on how important they are to become a graphic designer, at least in sports, just rank education, experience, and networking.
Oh, that is a good. Let me write these down. Experience, education, and networking. I would say like they all go hand in hand, so they're all very important. But if I was to rank them, I would say definitely education because I feel like without the education, without like the base knowledge of like what you're doing, whether that be like a formal education in college or just like getting educated through like, YouTube or whatever, I would say that's more important because like you need to have that background before you get any of that experience. No one's gonna like give you any experience if you don't really know what you're doing. So I would say education is number one, experience is number two. Gaining that experience is super important because you're going to learn so much more and you're going to like gain a lot of like valuable knowledge on your career and just like life. And then networking is very important, but I would say it's number three because networking is it's something I'm kind of bad at, to be honest. But like networking is so important because like people, it's just good to have relationships with people like within your industry and within other industries also. But like I think those are really important because those lead to like jobs, those lead to opportunities. So yeah, definitely in that order.
Yeah, that is very it's super interesting to hear because you're the first person I've talked to that I would say works on like a creative side that's not like marketing or business side. So it's
Hmm.
pretty cool to hear you say that order because I've never heard that order before, but I think
Hmm.
you're 100% right, especially specific to this because you need to be educated on how to do this thing.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
and you won't get experience unless you're educated. So
100%.
and how do you build your network without being like I think that makes total sense because you have to learn how to actually do the thing.
100%. No, yeah, I agree. I think they all go hand in hand though. Like they're all very important
Right.
things.
Yeah, I always feel bad asking because I'm like they're all important, obviously, but
Yeah.
I don't want to put you in a position where you're saying one of them isn't important.
No, no doubt. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's all the questions I have for you today. I appreciate you like talking to me. I'm sorry that I'm looking down here. You're right here and my camera's up here.
Oh,
And when you're
you're all good.
talking, I want to look at you while you're talking. But when
Yeah.
I'm talking, I also want to look at you, so it's weird for
Yeah.
me to look up. I gotta
Yeah.
get used to it.
Yeah. No, I figured that's what you're doing. No, you're all good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's all I got for you. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you talking to me.
Yeah. I appreciate you calling, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Good
Yeah.
luck
Yeah.
finding a good intern, hopefully, and good luck to the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, and good. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and good luck to you as you finish, college
Yeah,
and you enter that job market.
of
Don't
course.
don't
Thank you.
hesitate to like reach out if you have any questions or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I will. All
Awesome, brother.
right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was nice
All
meeting
right,
you.
nice meeting you too, man.
All right. See ya.
All right, bye.
All right. That was Julian. That was super. I feel like not to like gloat, not to put myself in the back or anything, but I feel like that was my best job as an interviewer. I think I absolutely smashed that. Okay, I asked good. He said I asked good questions. Okay, so that means I did. Those were some of the best questions I think I've had prepared. And honestly, I need to interview more people in the creative design space because that was super helpful. That was super cool because I think that I want to be on the creative side. I do love marketing and I love sales and not sales. I don't love sales. I've never done sales, but I love marketing. But I also love the idea of doing something creative within sport. And he has such a cool job. And I don't understand graphic design at all. So I'm taking all this advice to heart. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past me to ask him to hop on another call because that's awesome. That was awesome. That was great. That was great. Julian, if you're listening to the very end of this, thank you very much. You were fantastic. And if you're listening as a listener, make sure to look at the links in my bio. Go check out my Instagram. There's a lot more direct tips from me personally of how to break into the sport industry. If you're interested, go check that out. Thank you guys very much. Leave a 5-star review on this Spotify right now, or else I'm never going to make this content ever, ever, ever again. Just kidding. I totally will. But thank you for listening, and I will catch y'all for the next episode.